Just practicing my quick YouTube thumbnail poses to get more clicks. But without that ado, let's get straight into it. This is going to be the tier list. It's going to be probably the most controversial tier list possibly on Dota. But it's in good reason, because people need to know what's a good support. Well, hopefully you have watched my little description at the start of the video of about these categories, and if you haven't, I suggest you just go quickly read over and familiarize yourself with what kind of puts each hero in which category. So I'm gonna be yapping for a bit, so I've got a can of Coke with me, and yeah, I'm gonna be good to go because this is gonna take a little while. So first off, we're gonna start with Abaddon, a no-brainer. Everyone knows where it's going to go. It's going to go into I want to win. Why is that? You have a Dispel. You can turn around fights. You have a heal. You're also hard to kill with the ultimate. It's pretty much just a... It's not a brain dead... it is a brain dead support, but it's a brain dead support in a good way. It does a lot. It has a lot of impact. It's hard to be punished. Alchemist is going to be our first one in the 50-50. Don't really need to say any more about him because, as you know, it is an ag rusher. It's either you give the ags to the right person and they do the right stuff with it, or you give an ags and then you go a team fight sort of build and you win the game. It's just a 50-50 hero. It's not too great, not too bad. Sorry. AA, I want to win. Another no-brainer. The blast is insanely oppressive. Does a lot of damage. Don't sleep on it. Good slow. The cold feet or whatever that stuns you after the duration if you don't move a certain distance is fucking annoying, to say the least. So he's there. Brings good damage. Also scales insanely well once you get the ags. I lost to a core one recently. That was not fun. Haven't seen that one. 40-60 Arc Warden. I used to play Arc Warden, and I'd say last patch with a longer duration on the double that he possibly would have been a 50-50. He's very team reliant. But once he gets those team items, like the Solar Crests and the Glimmers, he gets double, you know, obviously he gets double of them. Provides a lot of value in long team fights, especially with the new bubbles. But the problem is his duration's just a little bit too low that he just won't get enough cycles of the items to be useful now. So I think he is a 40-60, possibly a less than 20 IQ. He's probably a less than 20 IQ, but we're putting 40-60 out of respect for the hero. Don't think anyone's played that. Bane's going to go 40-60 just out of the fact that I don't see it anymore. And that I feel like he's just not that great. I really don't know how you're meant to play this hero right now. I know it's just a shutdown run core, but it just doesn't seem that great. Haven't really seen it, but I'm just going to put in the 40-60 or the 50-50. Maybe we'll leave it at the 50-50. I think that's a little bit unfair, the 40-60, because he's not too team and item reliant to have impact. 50-50 just requires a good engage. Yeah, needs items. He either does what he wants to do very easily, or he doesn't at all. There's no in between. Bounty Hunter is going to be probably... If it was me and my games, he goes here. In general, I think he's a 40-60 hero. He has the ability to be good in the team fight super early, but past that, he becomes almost utterly useless. You don't really want to take a Bounty Hunter past the 20-minute mark, it feels like, because they seem to have a obsession with tracking the enemy team when they push tier 2s and dying for it. And this is a very, very game-by-game basis for every single Bounty Hunter. I feel like everyone that picks this hero doesn't truly understand how to use invisibility. I don't know. The hero is just not that great. It's pretty much I want to be carried. It should be here, but it's going to go here anyway. This can be played. If it was played, it's 50-50, but I'm just going to put it here anyway. Chen's going to be our first one in the less than 20 IQ. I feel like all the Chen pickers I've seen of recent times have not been able to play the hero, not been able to find success on it. It's always been a stomp if I've won with it, and else of that, it's been little to no impact, so it's going to go in there. Sorry. Chen. This is another one. Either very good or very bad, but often not very bad. So he's going 40-60, requires too many items, just not a great laner, etc, etc. 50-50, he's either having a game or he's not. He needs items, otherwise he's just paper thin and just dies pretty much instantly at the start of any end game or mid game fights. But he is good in the sense that he can bring initiation, which I think is a very big struggle point overall in Dota and Dota players. So this hero is good for that. CM, I want to win. Great passive. you're increasing the fast speed, everything like that, the sustain of people on the map through the passive. Then the ultimate is good damage if you get it off. The frostbite and the shard is really, really strong, and the slow, and then you got the barrier facet, etc. You bring a lot to the table with a little, so it's always nice to have a CM in your team. You can't complain with that. Dusty support, don't really see that. Willow's another one. Massive damage, an AoE fear that can shut out like RPs, everything like that. You know, buy space for your team, you know, stop TPs, roots, stun, damage. She brings it all and doesn't really rely on too much. Dazzle's another one. He's just exceptionally strong, has a save, doesn't really need too many items. Lane dominator, everything you want in I want to win support. Disruptor, another I want to win support. He has Glimpse. I think Glimpse in a winning or losing game is still very strong, allows you to escape people and also catch them. And I don't really need to talk about the ultimate. The ultimate is insanely strong. With Aghanim's, it's probably one of the strongest ultimates in the game. You can shut down pretty much everyone and make anyone that was hard to kill, the BKB, etc. If they do not respect this guy at all when they push certain areas, he can completely shut them out and take them out of the fight instantly and kill them. Doom, he's a good pos 4, not too bad. He's a 50-50 though. He either gets the Doom on the target that matters, and generally he doesn't, so I put him there, but he is another very strong support, and if you don't feel bad going to late game with this guy. ES is going to be our first hero in the 60-40. Obviously, Echo, big damage. He's an okay laner, depending on who he's with. But he can contest the support with W, obviously, and stuff like that. And he has a low item reliance. He only really needs Blink to be effective, and he's going to always be guaranteed to get that. So definitely a 60-40 pick. ES is going to be our next one. Well, Earth Spirit, not Earth Shaker. It's going to be our next one. Although this is player dependent, and this could fluctuate between obviously all of the categories. If he's a great player, I think he's either I want to win or 60-40. He's able to control the bounty runes. Sorry, not the bounty runes. The power runes in the middle, water runes, everything like that. He's a great map presence hero, great for punishing people, great for initiating. Just an all-round great hero in the right hands, and with a low item reliance, but if he gets items, he's a damage monster. He's able to do a lot of damage from the support role. ET is probably going to be in the 60-40, though I feel like if the ET player is good, he's definitely here. So I'm going to say, because this is a specialist hero generally, that the people that are picking ET know what they're doing. So 60-40 is the ET thing, able to win pretty much any lane if he stacks for himself. Earth Split is amazing. The set up and the slow, even the Aghanims allows him to go in if he gets to that stage, and pretty much two-shot supports potentially. A lot can go right for this hero, more than wrong in the right hands, so he is definitely a 60-40 hero. Ember's going to be a 40-60. He can either do really great in the lane for you and take it out and, you know, apply pressure through his remnants and his shackle chains. It's just a hit or miss, but most likely it's going to be a miss, so he's going to end up in the 40-60. Enchantress is going to be our second less than 20 IQ hero in here. Enchant is a great dispel right, but it's only in certain matchups, and as from the top of my head, not really too much of value in it as at the moment. I don't think there's too much that can be dispelled, that needs to be dispelled right now. But yeah, other than that, she's pretty much a solo support. She's pretty much just goes damage items, doesn't really help the team. She can go solo crest and stuff like that, but like, why would you want to have her in the fight when you can have like any of these and they just do more with the same items? That's my kind of thought process on her. I'm never happy to see an Enchantress. I know they go play by themselves in the map. Hopefully they get Hurricane Park and hopefully they just kill someone with that. But other than that, they just don't bring anything. They don't really help the team. And then it's going to be a 40-60. Obviously, he needs a lot of items. If he gets the items without griefing his other cores, and these other cores have he's a good game, he's having a great time, and he's doing a lot of impact. But to get there is very hard, so obviously he's going to just be a 40-60. Void's the same way as Enigma. These two are the same. They provide very, very great ultimates, but like at the end of the day, the cost of bringing these generally is on your cores, and therefore they're having a worse game. And if they can't pull enough weight, or you just can't pull the weight for them, the game is probably going to be done. I think Grimstroke is a 60-40 right now. I don't think he's all I want to win, but I would like to put him there because I think this hero is overall really fun. Especially for anyone that likes to go in. I like to play Riki, so Grimstroke is a very, very nice hero to have because it's a dispel on the jump in. Allows you to play a little bit more riskier. Dark Portrait's really strong, and obviously that little silence fucker. Anything that has that little you have to hit it multiple times to deal with it makes it really strong. And being able to reapply it if they don't, which will happen a lot in later game fights potentially, just puts him up there. Always good to have. Gyro is a 50-50. Yeah, he gets items or he does a lot or he does nothing. That's just how he works. Huskar's going to be in the less than 20 IQ, I think. He's just too much of a paper in a support role, and that's pretty much his only issue. He just dies too easy, and he just can't get the items to do anything. Invoker is either going to probably 50-50. In the right hands, I think this hero is really strong, even in the support role. He can get a lot done in the lane. Sunstrike's obviously really strong. I think that's what you play, or you play the Wix Invoker and you EMP people, stuff like that. Also great for that. If he gets to late game or he's in the right hands, he possibly could be up here. Late game, he's here if he has items. Obviously, that's a no-brainer. He just does a shit ton with Triple Meteor. So, great pick all round, but not the reliability of the other ones. It's just not a pub hero. People just can't get the value, can't get enough out of this hero. And the people that pick it generally have like 200 GPM on it. So, like, they don't have any items. They fall off. They don't do much. Like, bring 110 attack speed is not that big a deal or whatever it is. Just bring the Ogre and pick the Ogre. The most ultimate defensive support, Ice Bath, is insane. The Q is insane. The E is insane. The R is insane. He just brings a lot of damage. He's tanky. He's able to help people survive. He's also able to lock them down. Just a very, very staple I want to win pick. He does everything right with little items. KOTL is a 50-50. He either does something or he doesn't. The flicker's not too bad though, but apart from that, not too great. Kunkka's going to be a 40-60. He's just pretty much a worse disruptor in every single way imaginable. It's like, why would you pick him when you could pick him? That's my take on it. Leshrac is another 50-50. Either he dumpsters and kills the support solo in the lane and gets a lot of kills and kind of just starts ganking around with his W, or he doesn't get much and he just does nothing. So it's a 50-50. Lich is going to be a 60-40, has a really, really strong defensive, really good ultimate. With the previous patch, obviously he'd be here, but right now he's going to be here. Just a solid hero all around, decent laner, decent team fight, everything you want. Lina is going to be a less than 20 IQ, just requires too much items. The magic damage being completely nerfed, so getting shard early and stuff like that doesn't really benefit you. So she finds herself down there. Lion, another no-brainer, straight in the I want to win category, no questions about it. I think Jakiro and Lion together is probably the strongest sub-duo possible right now, or one of these two. Like, honestly, any two of these together and you're going to have a very, very good game. Maybe just not these two, Dazzle and Abaddon together, because they kind of do the same thing. But, yeah. Lion, Blink, obviously, Blink. He just needs a Blink. Blink Hex, Blink Stun, ultimate, damage, mana drain and lane. Great laner, great out of the game, great scaling. Everything you want in a hard or a winning, like a losing a winning game. Same as all these other ones. Too much farm. She can be great, but she requires way too much farm. Magnus 50-50, don't need to say why. Needs a bit of items and player dependent. Mars is probably going to be a 40-60. He's kind of like Magnus. Can he get his items without griefing his other cores? If he can, and he can get out for a good team fight. Oldie, obviously, he's very strong. Brown Boots and Joyas seem to be Miranas, so Mirana finds herself in the 20 IQ. It doesn't do too much. I don't know. You just randomly... The only impact Mirana has in the game, it feels, is that, oh, did she hit that 5-second stun arrow at the 57-minute mark and they didn't have buyback, or they did have buyback and they had to use it because of it. Besides that, she feels insanely lackluster. I'd rather have anything else. 50-50, Monkey. I think this is a dependent one. I think he could be possibly up here or as low as down here. Very player dependent on how he moves around the map and how he lanes. I feel like you have to be a semi-monkey player to be able to pull this off consistently as a support role, because he's insanely mobile. He kind of is like a Riki support in the sense that you can go around lanes, you can really do some fucking damage if you get the blood grenades and the slow. So I really want to... I think I'll put him here overall just because I would put him in either one of these two. Very player dependent though. Just how you make movements around the map and a little bit team dependent. Too much farm. Great support late game, but too much farm. A little bit too much farm and way too team reliant on the ulti. It just, pulling as a Naga player, like a Naga player that's got a lot of Naga games, the ultimate is insanely hard to judge of when it's worth it or not worth it, unless it's super easy to tell. So I just don't think she's a great support at the moment. MP, he's going to go 60-40, insane farming, etc, etc. The lower you go, the higher this gets. The higher you go, probably the further it falls down, probably to like a 50-50. But yeah, you can go like the Shard, Orchid, max the Sprout, and just go around ganking supports with the tree, and they just die to it. Pretty much you're playing like a Lina that can just pop up anywhere. But yeah, 60-40 easily. No, I still can support. Haven't been seeing this. Honestly, I just think it's a straight 50-50 or a 40-60. It's not too great. This would have been up here previous patch, but I think this guy's still solid, but he's just a 50-50. Does he get his items? And if he does, he's not too bad, but if he doesn't, he's shit. So he is straight a 50-50. A little bit too much item reliance now, and no real easy way to get it. Ogre, 60-40. You can't go wrong with an Ogre, right? He's like just your, like, it's the I can't play support core, like the core support. If you're a core player, you pick Ogre and you can't fuck it up. But you just press Bloodlust, you get a lot of value through that, Ignite and Stun. Great hero. Never gonna go wrong with it. Less than 20 IQ. I just see this hero is just done and dusted. Yeah, it's just not great. It is what it is. Another really great hero, player dependent, so you can put this as low as down here, because it's this is ultimately insanely player dependent, but I think it's very, very strong nonetheless. Pengo support is probably going to be about 40-60. I just don't really see it, and I just don't think it's too great. Someone did play PA support in the chat, but I'm not going to put it in there. If it was in there, it'd probably be 40-60. I think it's probably, honestly, it could be better than these, especially with a break game. It could definitely be around the 40. Only because the Phoenix players are generally dented, so and they like to egg in front of everyone, especially with a level 6 ulti, which dies in 2 seconds flat. So it goes in the 50-50. But if it was the Phoenixes in my games, it comes down here. Yeah, ultimately, this is another hero that can be everywhere, but I think 50-50 is a great definition for Phoenix. Pudge, yeah. This hero is another one that can be either way, like, just everywhere, but the fact that he lost his save shard and his hook facet, his hook that pretty much guaranteed if he hooked anyone, he'd kill them. I think he finds himself in just less than 20 IQ pick right now. He's just really not a support. Play him core if you're going to. Or land every hook and then you're up here or up here. Pugna 40-60, I feel like the correct's just used incorrectly a lot of the time in my games at least. The ward's okay. I don't know. He doesn't really set up. He doesn't really, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you want supports that can potentially set up or they're really strong in saves. And he's just a little bit of none of those two things. People have played Corp support. I would say Corp support's either here or here. Riki is 60-40. I think this is another very, very player-dependent hero. I think this hero is insanely strong as a support still in the right hands. Especially in lower MMRs, you can honestly just dumpster people. But offers a really good save. He's honestly, to me, in my eyes, the inverse of Bounty Hunter. Like, Bounty Hunter is very good up to, like, the end of the lane phase. So Bounty Hunter is like the stronger hero levels 5 to 6. Riki is stronger 1 to 3, and then past that, it gets more Riki favored as the longer the game goes. I don't know. I'm a big Bounty Hunter hater. I think the hero's just shit, as you can probably tell right now. But yeah, I think Riki in the right hands is 60-40. I think you can definitely win way more than you lose and have a lot of impact, whether you're in a winning or losing game, just through the sheer use of smoke. Providing information and just jumping in, starting fights. Riki is a very good initiator in the right hands as well in certain games. But overall, I would say the Riki players are generally not the best that I have seen, even in my MMR. So he would be one that would fluctuate between these three. But just off my bias, I'm going to put in 60-40, even though I do truly believe he is up there. Rubik is another one that's going to be 60-40, or I want to win. If the player is good and it's a good game, it's obviously an I want to win. But I think for that sake, I'm going to put it in 60-40. Generally, Rubiks are good in my MMR. Sometimes they're not, but more than often they're good. Doesn't really need too much. Can still spells, obviously. Has a stun, has a great nuke, everything like that. He brings a lot to the table in the right games and has the ability to absolutely shift team fights himself solo. So with that, he's easily in the 60-40. Shadowman, one of the only heroes in Dota I truly do not understand. So this is going to go straight in the 50-50 off that. I do not think he's as good as these though, but he's not bad. It's just, I've noticed that I can struggle with this, but a save is always strong. So he's probably at a bottom end of this or at the top end of this. Another one that Valve seems to just love making absolutely fucking busted. So he's going to be in the I want to win. Instead of getting rid of the immortality, they decide to get rid of the other, the other ones he spawned, the 3 of them, and instead make it 1, but instead give him a little hex on his auto attack, which is insanely hard to play around, and just insanely annoying. As someone that likes to, like, know what I'm up against, know what I expect, and spellcasting, getting hit by a random auto attack in the middle of a fight that hexes me and kills me isn't really the most engaging stuff. So, he's easily up there. Good pushing power. Good defensive power, shackles, hex. Any hex user is going to find themselves up here with a stun, and no doubt about it. Hex is just way too strong in the game, so easily up there. Silencer, obviously, I want to win, though if he's in this category, he has something like a Lion or something like a Disruptor that can kind of set up kills or help get kills. He is not good at setting up any kills. He's a reactionary defensive support, so with other supports that are defensive that don't want to go in, maybe like a Tinker, that would put him down here. He's very, very dependent on the other support pick or the team composition, but the global silence is, without a doubt, insanely busted. The second reverberating silence gets nerfed, the facet, which I think it will. It's too strong. You can dispel the first global and get it reapplied. It's just way too much. It makes the hero too good, and I hope it gets removed. But, yeah, this guy is going to find himself up in the I want to win tier till then. Decent laner, etc. You can't go wrong. 50-50, needs too much items, or he either has a game or he doesn't. Slark is 50-50, player dependent. Honestly, majority of probably Slark pos 4 players are probably down here, but we'll just put it on there for the sake of someone I know that plays Slark support and has relative success with it. So he goes there, can reward the whole map, etc. He's just like a Zeus, but melee. Leash is not too bad, and he has a very, very, very strong teamfight shard, so that will definitely put him in the 50-50. The team's winning and having a good game, he's having a good game, and he's able to help them. Sapphire is going to be another 60-40, brings great damage to the table, has a stun, has a heal, has great damage, and has also a egg killer, or just any like tombstone, etc. killer, so she brings a lot of utility to the fight, potentially alleviates gaps in your draft. An insane, just an all-round great pick that puts her easily into the 60-40, or possibly the I want to win. She could be either one of those. Snipe is just by definition a 50-50 if the team's having a great time and he's having a great time, or if the team's not having a great time, he's probably down here. But he can win lanes, obviously, with the shrapnel facet, insanely strong, gets solo kills, etc. But he falls off rather hard once the lane goes on, so you'd rather a lot of these other picks instead of him. Spirit Breaker, 50-50. Either the player's great at it or they're not, and generally they're not great at it. They don't gank mid like my Spirit Breaker today, so he can find himself in 50-50 today. I do think this hero is very strong if he gets items, but sometimes he's insanely hit or miss. It's too player dependent, though. That's why he will find himself here. He could be up here or is low here. It's just up to the player more so than the hero. Haven't seen any sets of end support, but he would find himself probably down here if he was being played right now. Techies to the 60-40. Great nuke. The minefield's really strong. The ultimate is strong, obviously, for attacking or defending. Taser's really strong. Q's are slow and stuff. A solid pick in any game situation. TB is a 50-50 in the support role. I think he's better as an off lane, but as the support role, he's just a 50-50. Plus 5 Tide is less than 20 IQ. He just is paper. He just dies. Unless he's having a really good game, I just don't see how you do well in the laning phase or out of the laning phase without, killing off your other core's game for the pick. Great pick. Either I want to win, honestly. If he can find the farm on the map without griefing his cores, or the game's going well, he's up here. Otherwise, I think he's over here. Just brings a lot of save and a lot of utility to teams. So, and he's able to get farm by himself, as long as he takes it away, doesn't take it away from his own team. Be a very, very strong reactionary support. So I think he is definitely a 60-40. Great for having whether attacking or defending. Just constantly, alleviates, mana issues, health issues, etc. like that through the items he brings. Tiny support, 50-50. It's either great or it's not, and that's pretty much it. Tree is going to be another 20 IQ one. I just never see a tree honestly have an impact. They just dead set don't really do anything. If I'm losing to a tree, I'm losing to the team. I'm never ever losing to a tree that's somehow finding impact. They seem to always find a way to feed. Yeah, just not the greatest. I think it's a really, yeah, I feel like if you're picking these sort of things, you just really want to play a passive game, kind of like an Alchemist, and kind of let your team do the work. That's my take on it. Sorry, tree lovers, but yeah, not the hero I want to see ever on my team if possible. Huskar is a 60-40, up to here if he's in a good hands, but in general hands, he finds himself very usable. Obviously, you can save, slow down, stun, damage, everything you need, and the kick is very, very strong whether you're winning or losing to kick people out of position, and taking people out of position is why, you know, Disruptor's Glimpse and stuff like that, and Tusk is super strong and super hard to deal with, especially in the late game, even with the Magnus. Just 50-50. He either does something or he doesn't with the Tombstone. Save, stun, minus armor reduction, aura, building, ags, so 2 lives. If they're able to survive for extended durations in the fight and get more value out of their spells, generally they're going to find themselves up in there. You want people that can stay around as long as possible and not die. And Menge is one of those heroes. Amazing slow, amazing team damage with the poison, patient 0. Insanely annoying to deal with. Just an all-round great hero, and also has the ability to farm and get items themselves to help their team in gaps they are missing. So with that in mind, easily an I want to win hero. Viper is just a 40-60. I don't really see this doing too much. It's kind of like my opinion on PA support, right? If it's a good game and they bring really good, break is really important. Viper support is fine, but other than that, he's generally just too squishy and he dies. Visage. This is another completely player-dependent hero, though I think in essence the hero is very 50-50. You're either having a game with Death Toll or you're not. If you're running Sepulture, he's definitely still 50-50, but if I'm assuming you're running Death Toll, he probably can find himself up here in really good hands, but I wouldn't consider him I want to win, even though he is an alpha support, which kind of means that he can be in the I want to win category. I still think a lot of players just aren't good enough for him to be considered that on the basis, so I put him in there. He's either having a game or he's not. And in a player's hands, it depends what he builds. If you build stuff that is useless in the support role, this hero is really, really lackluster, unless the player is just very good with familiar micro, which generally is not the case. Oh, that's a wrong one. This guy, don't even need to say about him, absolutely busted. Fatal Bonds is insane. The sustain with the healing in lane is really strong in just the game in general, and then the slow and the attack speed buff is crazy, and that's not even getting to the golems. Early game is great, and late game, he is, without a doubt, S+ tier. He can solo games by himself with the golems. They are insane. When I previously made a tier list like this, I put this guy at 50-50, but I'm just going to call him the 550 Move Speed Observer Ward. Kill shot's great in the lane. Sometimes it's really good. After the laning phase, I wish if I had anything else other than a Wind Ranger. Doesn't do anything unless it gets some massive shackle shot. Honestly, probably one of the most miserable heroes to have on your team the later the game goes. It truly does not bring anything to the table unless it's somehow absolutely fed out of its mind. Only 60-40 because of the essence of the curse and the heal being able to grief your team. Other than that, this would find itself in the I want to win. I want to win easily. Ags, insanely strong. Malediction, insanely strong. You can't even deal with it. The ultimate, really strong. The stun is really strong. Pretty much everything about Witch Doctor is really strong. So he finds himself in the I want to win. He can turn around fights by himself, whether winning or losing. So without that, with that in mind, he's easily finds himself in that category. Zeus, another I want to win. I think it's just super consistent damage right now. And he always gets the farm, even in a winning or losing game, so I always generally get high impact from a Zeus player on my team at least. So he has felt very nice, and I always feel at peace because I'm always like, this guy's going to eventually do a lot of damage. So we have this scaling in mind, or he's just always going to bring consistent damage to the table through his innate and all that, his abilities. So always a great pick to have on your team. Nothing I can really say too bad about the hero. Maybe it's a little bit overrated, or what I'm saying, and he's fought himself, but he's definitely at minimum at a 60-40 level. Dawnbreaker was playing this last patch pause for with a lot of success. I actually really enjoyed it. I think it's still just going to be a 50-50 though, sadly. I think the facet nerf on the reduction of her spells by 1 second every time whatever it was gets the stacks of luminosity really gutted the support role for this, even just the hero in general. So she could find herself down here, but I think 50-50 is quite fine. Hoodwink 6 of 40, can't go wrong. Great damage, great stun. Even though they nerfed her scalability through the fact that her Acon doesn't bounce off trees and stuff like that, and I think the Acon bounces as well, she would find herself up there if she had that still. But with that in mind, she's still very, very good. Still brings a lot. Cannot go wrong with the laning phase of Hoodwink and just the scalability to her, especially with the break. She finds herself easily in the 60-40. Marcy is going to be our last addition to the I Want to Win category. I think out of all the supports, Marcy is the most ridiculous in the terms of her damage she can output with the amount of items she has. So she finds herself without a doubt in the I Want to Win category. Alright, Murta. Whoever is, how you play Murta, we'll say. 60-40. A lot of people hate this hero in the spot. I think the calling is one of the just random fucking abilities you throw out and it randomly just gets them all killed. Like, just, there'll be some time I'll just accidentally run into a calling mid-fight or something like that. I'm just dead. And I just think the calling has that, that aura about it. Just, you know, it's just there and it just can fuck you up at any moment. But besides that, the dead shot's really great, and her ultimate is insane. She's able to survive a lot of jumps on her. And if it goes to late game, Murta has insane damage output from a support role, and she can easily solo the cause late game if she has some items. So without that, easily a 60-40, cannot go wrong with her. Not too much item reliance, always has a lot of impact in those early game fights as well, especially in the right hands with people that know how to use the W and the Qs. Final two. Ringmaster. I think Ringmaster, just because of the essence of the hero, the slow and the dagger, the utility in his Carney Classics facet, and the W. He brings a lot to the table with the ultimate as well, and the save. Cannot forget about the save. He's just an all-round great hero you want, whether you're winning or losing a game. The taunt on the ultimate is insanely nice if people are pushing high ground to punish them when they try to flee. Without a doubt, the 60-40. Ked support. I don't think this is too good right now. I haven't seen it, so for good measure, would put it down here. Though I think this hero is insanely strong in the mid lane, so I think if you're going to play Klez, don't play it support. Play it as a core role. This hero has insane damage output. Why play him as a support? And gimp that. Yeah, so I think that's going to be it. I think that is the support list. In terms of impact. My camera's not blocking it. No, it's not. So, yeah, there it is, guys. If there's anything you disagree with or agree with or my takes on it, leave a comment and I will read it and I will probably reply to you.